Hey Bronco fans, Chris Brannick here for UCO Athletics and BroncoSports.com. Earlier this summer, President Patty Newholt Ravikumar introduced the 9th athletic director in the history of University of Central Oklahoma, and it is my privilege and honor today to officially introduce Mr. Stan Wagnon to UCO Athletics. So Stan, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to UCO, welcome back to UCO. Let's go ahead and start with you kind of making an opening statement about taking this job.
Well, thanks, Chris. I'm certainly thrilled to be here, grateful for the opportunity, and for me it's really coming back home to the place where it all started for me in a lot of ways, but certainly my passion for intercollegiate athletics, my career in this industry, it all started here for me, and so it really is a blessing to come back home. I've been away from Edmond and off campus for about the last 24 years, but I've had the fortune of staying connected. You know, the first 7 years after I left here, I worked at schools like this that were in the same athletic conference with UCO. There was about 7 years where I worked in conference administration in the conference that UCO belonged to. And then here in the last 5 years or so, I've been able to kind of get reconnected, be on campus more just because my work has brought me into this area of the state. And so to have this opportunity to call UCO home, to be a part of the Edmond community, really means quite a bit to me, and I'm looking forward to being here. I've worked in conference administration for 16 years, and most of that as a conference commissioner. And so I think what I bring to the table with that as my background is, I've been able to work with a lot of different type of institutions and people in different positions, from presidents to athletic directors and coaches. And so I've had to manage different perspectives and obviously, different approaches. And so I think one of my strengths is to be a relationship builder and a collaborator. And obviously I've been faced with some difficult decisions. And so hopefully what my goal is in this role is to take all those things that I've learned. And as a commissioner, what I always tried to do was provide the best experience possible for the student athletes and the coaches and administrators throughout the conference. And so what excites me is to bring that same philosophy to UCO and now focus all of my efforts on providing the best experience possible to the Broncos, to our students and our coaches, and to be able to cheer for my hometown team again, my alma mater. So I'm really excited about focusing the things that I've learned and what I bring on a program that I'm very passionately tied with.
So we have a unique opportunity here, and we're still waiting on the research a little bit more, but you're actually a legacy athletic director. And so your father, Skip Wagnon, was the athletic director from 1986 to 2003. That was, of course, after a long run as the athletic trainer, the head athletic trainer here. And so what's it like to be in a position that the office is different, the chair is a little different, but for a little bit of a cliche, what's it like to sit in that same chair your dad used to sit in?
Well, first and foremost, UCO is special to my entire family. And, I think I was 12 years old when my dad became the AD, and by then I was already a Bronco and a huge fan of the sports teams and used to hanging around the fields and the locker rooms and things of that nature. But, I've got both my mom and dad went to school here. My sister and I both went to school here. Lots of aunts, uncles, and cousins, and so it runs deep. But specifically with him having been the athletic director, it's really a unique thing for me because it touches on so many parts of my life. I can think back to when I was a child and all the experiences that I got to have because he was the AD. The places we got to go and the people I got to meet, and it really just a lot of great childhood memories. But then even from there, as I started my career, I worked as a student worker in the athletic department under his leadership and got to see him as a professional, not just a dad. And then after that, working at schools that competed alongside UCO, and he was serving in the NCAA for men's basketball, for example, and I would go with our men's basketball team at Midwestern and see him at the regional. And then after that, even working in the conference office and him being a part of the conference, as he was an administrator. So I got to see a lot of different angles of my dad as athletic director, and surely have a true appreciation for what he did on this campus, the type of environment and culture that he was able to create with this athletic department. There's people here still to this day, some are still on the staff, but certainly a lot in the community who know what he meant to Bronco athletics. And so certainly feel like I've got some big shoes to fill. There's been others who have come along since him and moved the torch, moved the ball forward for the athletic department. You mentioned the facilities. It certainly doesn't look anything like what it did when he was here. He would be so proud of what we have and the resources we have to offer. So I'm just going to try to do the next right thing and make whatever impact I can to kind of keep things moving forward for UCO.
So you mentioned being an alum from UCO. What does that mean to you to work now at the university where you got your degree? Of course, you were here in the mid-90s and even in this mass communications department getting a public relations degree. What does that mean to you to come back here now and to work for the university, like I said, where you got your degree?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. UCO really prepared me for life. And that was my involvement in the athletic department, but also my involvement here, with the mass communications, the journalism department. I studied public relations and learned a lot of skills that I still use today in the jobs that I've had. And so UCO is a special place. It prepared me for success. Some of the experiences that I had working for Mike Kirk in the Sports Information Office really instilled the passion that I have for doing right by the student athlete. Just taking a hold of their story and getting it out in front of people so that people can see the great things that are going on our campus. And so all that started here for me, and so that really is my inspiration that I'm going to bring to this job. I'm inspired to help our student athletes make the most of their time on campus and get set up for a successful life after college. And so I really think that my background is unique, and I hope to leverage that to really help our students and give them the type of experience that can transform them into a successful career as well.
So a similar question we have for you, of course, growing up with your family being in UCO, everybody's UCO. You grew up in Edmond.
Yeah.
And so now kind of a similar question, what is it like to come back into the community of Edmond and be a resident once again?
Well, it's going to be fun. I've lived in Texas really my whole adult life, and we're coming in from the Dallas area. My wife is a native Texan, and we've joked over the years about career changes and should we move here or there, and she's always said, well, I don't really want to leave Dallas, but Edmond's one place that I would move to. And so that's the kind of reputation Edmond has. It's just a great place to call home, and certainly I haven't lived here in 24 years, and there's been so much progress and a lot of things have changed. But I've got a lot of deep roots here, connections to families and friends, and high school teammates and college classmates and things of that nature. So I'm looking forward to getting back and being part of the community. I've often said I think I've got more friends in Edmond than I do in Dallas anyway. So I think that's good. I think I'm also getting here at an exciting time. UCO plays a big part of the Edmond community, and with the president entering her second year, there just seems to be a lot of excitement and just a real spirit about the Broncos right now. Obviously our facilities have improved greatly in the last couple of years, and I've always viewed UCO not just as a leader and a contributor for Edmond, but really for the state of Oklahoma. And so I'm kind of excited to see what we can do to put UCO athletics at the forefront, not just for Edmond, but also Oklahoma City and really throughout the state. I feel like the Broncos are expected to win, we're expected to lead, and we're expected to contribute, and I'm excited to be a part of that movement.
Okay, no more easy questions. Now we're going to talk about some of the more difficult stuff.
Okay.
Obviously, 2020 has been one of the most unique years in anyone's memory. It seems to be a once-in-a-lifetime kind of year where we are dealing with a lot of unique challenges. We canceled all of our sports in the spring semester. We've suspended all of our sports in the fall semester for the time being. What's it like to come into a new job in athletics and sports, having been in the position that we're in right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's different, just like every other aspect of all of our lives. This is a different time, and so to me, it's a choice of how we're going to look at that. First of all, we're feel bad for our student athletes because they're on a path and they have a window of opportunity, and the days are going by in their window of opportunity. So certainly feel bad about that. But at the same time, we've got to look at the other side of it, the positive side, and how can we capture the opportunity that we have in front of us. And I've said to our staff, it's not often in life you get to hit the pause button. And so my approach with the athletic department is we're going to take advantage of this time while things are on pause to really take a look at ourselves, see what our strengths are and how we can leverage those, identify our weaknesses, and what can we do to address those so that when we come out of this season, we give ourselves the best chance to really move forward and become a better version of ourselves. And so for our student athletes, I've not had the chance to meet with most of them, and I know our coaches are on top of this, but I think for me, we've just got to keep in mind that not all growth and not all strength training happens, on the floor or on the court or in the weight room. There's a lot more to this life than what you do in athletics competition. And so hopefully we're going to take advantage of that, whether it's in practices or study hall. But I really think this is the time to think about kind of a well-rounded approach to being a student athlete and what can we do to help them with mind and body and character. And so if we can get some of those things going this semester, I'm really confident that once the games start happening, you're going to see a better version of the Broncos on the floor.
So what would you say are kind of maybe one or two of your top priorities? What do you think is the most important thing to do as the athletic director at UCO?
Well, I do think that we've got to cast a vision and we've got to kind of rally the troops and get everybody pulling in the same direction. So I'm still early in the process. I think we're on day 3 of being on campus and being in the job. So I've got a lot of homework to do. What I'm trying to do right now is take in as much information as possible, kind of size up where we are, what's going well, what are things that need improvement. But I think that what I'm hearing in kind of the initial feedback is we've got to do everything we can to take the resources that we have. We've got a tremendous staff, we've got tremendous facilities, but we've got to take those resources and make sure that they're student focused. And so I want to make sure that we apply some strategy and some intentionality into the way we approach our jobs in the athletic department, and that strategy is let's keep the students at the focus of everything we do. And so to me that's probably the top priority, is making sure that strategically everything we're doing has the student in mind. I think a couple of things I've heard, scholarship funding, for example, is an ongoing thing where we've got to keep doing what we can to get ahead or catch up, whatever the case may be. And so I want to get my hands on that and kind of figure out, where could we do better with scholarships. And again, that's giving students the opportunity to do the best while they can. And then I think, outside of that, we want to be the front porch for the campus. We want to engage the community. We want to welcome the Edmond and Oklahoma City communities onto this campus. And certainly we have the athletic facilities to do that. And so I want to make sure we leverage our facilities and our endeavors in such a way that we're putting a good foot forward for UCO, and people leave here thinking, hey, that's a great place, we want to be a part of that.
All right, so you got an opportunity to make a sales pitch to UCO, the coaches, the students, the campus as a whole, the Edmond community, and what is the most important thing someone needs to know about UCO athletics right now?
Well, I think just at the core level of UCO athletics, we want to be an extension of the classroom. We want to be part of the educational mission for this campus. And so at UCO, we believe in transforming students' lives, not just athletes, but all students that come here are being transformed and positioned to go out and make a difference in the community. And so athletics wants to be a part of that. And so the other aspect I mentioned earlier is, we expect to lead and we expect to win and to achieve greatness. And so some of that's going to be on the scoreboard, some of it's going to be in life and in the community. And so I think people are going to see that. And then, the other piece of it is we're going to do what we can to apply our resources and our support to make things better for the students. And so to me, that's kind of the central purpose of what we're going to try and do in the athletic department. Now, beyond that, I think what we're going to be trying to do is enhance the experience that people have on this campus. And so whether that's the student body being able to come out and participate and have something that generates some school spirit and be able to have a rallying cause behind the Broncos, or whether that's the community coming out and having a team they can be proud of. We want to enhance the experience, but then we also want to engage the communities around us. And so my hope is that we'll develop some initiatives where we can get our student athletes out into the community, whether that be Edmond or Oklahoma City, certainly here on campus, But we want to be good ambassadors for the university. There's a lot to love about UCO, and we just want athletics to be kind of one of those vehicles that takes that message out to the masses.
That's Stan Wagnon. He's your new athletic director. Got a couple of thank yous we want to get out of the way too here, make sure we get in here. I want to thank the University of Central Oklahoma for allowing us to do this, for getting us back in. We're trying to get back into everything, and certainly want to thank everyone at the university level that's making that happen. The College of Liberal Arts and the Mass Communications Department, again, for letting us use this space and helping us make this opportunity possible. And certainly everyone within the U Central News organization and everybody there that's really helped us along the way. I would also like to thank the Edmond Electric as a sponsor of UCO Athletics in this discussion with the athletic director. Stan, welcome again. Welcome. Glad to have you aboard. Look forward to everything, and we certainly wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you having me.